Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aaron White, and I'm the host of the First City Podcast, coming to you live from First City Studios, 166 Front Street in Marietta. First City Records, your home for all the latest and greatest in vinyl, CDs, cassettes. Welcome into the podcast, episode 3. We've got a great interview today with Jimmy Carrano, the owner and entrepreneur and now restaurant owner of Jimmy Avocados, located down at the bottom of Juliana St now in downtown Parkersburg. I'm going to talk to him about life and his secret spices for success and all things Tex-Mex. Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. But first, a little bit about what's going on in the store. Got a big shipment of new releases and restocks coming in today from a new distributor. I'm excited to get those put out for you guys. FirstCityRecordStore.com is your hub for everything pretty much that we have in the store. We're trying to get all of our used inventory online as well as the new sealed stuff and, of course, all the pre-orders. Taking a quick look down at the website on the pre-order list. Coming up, we have brand new pre-order from 21 Pilots, an album called Clancy, indie exclusive, clear with red splatter. Got the new Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards, indie exclusive on clear vinyl, up for pre-order. One of my favorite alt country bands, Old 97s, up for pre-order. I've already sold out once, but I ordered more. The Avett Brothers are back with a self-titled album in 2024 on blue vinyl, indie exclusive yet again. Kings of Leon have a new one out called Can We Please Have Fun, indie exclusive apple colored vinyl. That's up there. In reissues from No Doubt, Elliott Smith, MXPX, Garbage, Madonna, and greatest hits on splatter vinyl, Linkin Park. Plus about 50 or 60 other titles as well. And then if you go to the Record Store Day 420 tab, everything that we plan on having on Record Store Day is now listed, so you can start seeing the prices and saving those pennies for Record Store Day. So that's it from the website. We got a bunch of in-store events coming up in April. Going to go ahead and start getting the ball rolling, talking about those. First up on April 5th is First Friday with my good friend, alt country musician from the Beckley area. His name is Mr. Sean Benfield. Cannot wait to actually meet him in person. We've been friends for almost a decade through social media in the vinyl community. And I buy stuff from him, he's bought stuff from me, and I'm in love with his music. Alternative country, outlaw country. Cannot wait to have him in the store and hopefully get some more vinyl pressed. I know he's got CDs and some shirts, but I want to get more of his stuff on vinyl. When Old Crow Medicine Show visited the store when they were here in town for a concert, I actually gave a copy of Sean's album to Old Crow Medicine Show, and they put it up on their social medias. It was pretty neat. So yeah, First City Records is going to host Sean Benfield on April 5th. After that, we have April 8th. It is, I think, a Monday. I don't know. But it's Rex Manning Day. What is Rex Manning Day, you may ask? Rex Manning Day is a fictional 1980s crooner from the movie Empire Records. Rex Manning Day is on April 8th in store. It's going to be something that I celebrate every year because that movie is the initial reason why I wanted to open a record store when I was just 16 years old. Rex Manning was the guest that came to the record store in that movie that day, and everybody was so excited to meet Rex Manning. So on that day, some of the things that I got planned, I want to do a 90s dress-up kind of thing. If you show to the store dressed up, you're going to get a discount in the 90s theme. We're going to do an air guitar contest. If you want to sign up for the air guitar contest, which will go live on streaming through my YouTube page, First City Podcast on YouTube, shameless plug. Sign up in the store anytime now through the end of time until April 8th if you want to be in the air guitar contest, and you get a chance to win the soundtrack to the movie, which goes in at over $100. It's on it's sealed, it's brand new, it is on yellow translucent vinyl, and if you look it up, it goes for over $100 on the secondary market. I'll be giving it away sometime during that day, but the main event, we will be bringing in the sound system and the big movie screen, and we will be streaming the movie Empire Records for free for anybody who wants to come at 7 p.m. on Rex Manning Day. And that during the movie will be, before the movie or after the movie, will be when I announce the winner of the Empire Records soundtrack. So come and enjoy Rex Manning Day with me at First City Records. After that, April 19th, the Taylor's Torture Poets Party. We still have shirts per pre-order for the new Taylor Swift album coming out on April 19th. Go to firstcityrecordstore.com and pre-order your store exclusive shirt for that party. It's going to be a very good event hosted by my friend Rebecca, who does an amazing job. She's going to decorate the store in a black and white theme, and she's got other things in the works as well. Make sure to follow the event page for that. And then the day after that is Record Store Day. Open the doors at 8 a.m. Make sure to listen to the last week's podcast with Elmer Gorelli of the Sound Exchange, where we kind of break down the list and talk about things that we were excited for. And before we get into the episode with Jimmy Carrano, let's do a final check on the top 5 list that we had yesterday. Elmer won. Elmer had more votes than me by 1. He won with 57% of the vote for his top 5 list, including Neil Young, Joe Strummer, Sisters of Mercy, Boogie Down Productions, and the Dwight Yoakam box set. So congratulations to Elmer. It's okay. I'll win the next one. We'll see. Maybe not. Who knows? My taste is weird. Anyways, sit back and relax and get to know Jimmy Carrano of Jimmy Avocados. Don't talk about boring crap or you're going to get one of these crickets. Tell me about your childhood as we travel back in time. All right, guys, we have already hit record. This is Aaron for First City Podcast and First City Records, coming to you live this week from Jimmy Avocados down at the bottom of Juliana Street. What's your physical address here?
It's 327 Juliana Street.
327 Juliana, the brand new physical location for Jimmy Avocados. We're going to have a chat with the owner, Jimmy Carrano.
Yes.
Welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. I look forward to chatting with you. We've been friendly for a while, but it's nice to get to know people in a podcast sense, because I get to ask questions that a normal person wouldn't sit down and be like, so tell me, did you cook more with your mother or your father when you were
A little more personal. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you've gained quite the following around here with your food truck, your social media, and I think a lot of it has to do with your personality as a business owner. I think people like you, because as a business owner, you're actually selling yourself more than your stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
If somebody wanted a cheaper record, they'd go to Amazon. If somebody wanted a cheaper taco, they'd go to Taco Bell, right? Yeah. So we're selling ourselves as a community member and a valued part of what makes this area great.
Yeah.
So got to commend you on that for every time we've ever had any dealings. I've always had nothing but positive things to say to anybody else about you. So
thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yep. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. Did you grow up in the Mid Ohio Valley?
Yeah, no. Oh man, you figure I'm 37 years old and I moved 39 times in my life. So we've always had family here. So born in California. I dotted the United States, probably spent a lot of my adolescent, early teen years growing up in Columbus. And then we ended up moving here right like the last year and a half, 2 years of my high school career. My mother wanted to be closer to her family, and they all lived here. So, and then from there, I kind of started branching off doing my own thing. But I mean, I've been here long enough where this is kind of my home. So, I got a lot of connection here, a lot of good memories here. So I'd say a good chunk of my growing up was done here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're talking to somebody who's pretty much lived here my entire life between Belbury, Marietta, Parkersburg.
Okay.
I've ventured off briefly, but I've always came back here and, planted my roots, raised my family here.
Yeah.
When you were growing up with all the moving around, did you spend much time in the kitchen? Did you have aspirations when you were a kid to do anything with food?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an engineer, man. I wanted to build buildings or rocket engines or something like that. That was probably my goal as a kid. But my father did kitchens his whole life. He worked restaurants, and a big reason we moved was there's opportunity in moving and opening new restaurants. So So I can remember being a kid and going in making, $20 a day to go in and bust down boxes and make prep plates, for certain dishes and all those little things. So I don't want to necessarily say when I was younger it was an aspiration. It definitely was a part of my life, though.
Yeah. My wife's sister's husband, whatever that would be for me, he's a chef, and since I've been with my wife, I've seen that they've lived in Hawaii. He did a restaurant in Hawaii. They've done a restaurant in, I believe, somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
Up in New England, New York, some time in D.C. And he's probably your age or maybe a couple years older.
Okay.
And he's done all that, traveled around and just opened restaurants, got them successful, and then they move him on to the next one. He's recently retired completely from cooking, and now he just does it for fun at home. Is there a burnout factor?
So it was maybe a decade ago. I quit for a couple years. I quit cooking. I left the kitchens. I got an office job. When the oil and gas stuff hit real big, I started doing kind of like that style work just to get out of it. And at first, it was a nice break, a nice breather and stuff. But I don't know, you miss it. You miss the grind. I mean, I feel like I thrive in chaos. So, and there's very few things less chaotic than a busy kitchen. So,
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just, there's definitely calling to always come back. I needed that break though, to really see, like, is this something I do want to invest the majority of my, career life, my older life in, doing and stuff. And I don't recommend what I do to anybody. You miss birthdays, you miss holidays, you miss all the important dates, and all your friends are the people that stay up, past 3 o'clock in the morning. But I absolutely love what I do. I'll to some extent, I'll be involved in a kitchen until my time comes. So
working in an office, there's a lot of time looking at the clock.
Yeah.
When you're in the kitchen, time goes so much faster than people realize.
No, it really does.
So your day could feel like it's just starting, and it could be midnight.
Yeah, and it's a good and bad thing, when you're like, man, I'm just tired, I want to get home, and if it's slow, that clock's dragging, and that hour feels like it's been 3 days.
Yeah.
But then if you're busy and you have 90 things to prep and get caught up on, by the time you look up at the clock, it's 15 till close, and you've gotten halfway through that list. So it's both a good and bad thing. I always do the joke when we're counting down how long we have left. I don't do it by hours. I do it by minutes. So I'm like, hey, there's 127 minutes left. Because then in 1 minute, there's only going to be 126. And it keeps going down. It just sounds better. Sounds better.
You went to culinary school, Greg?
Yeah.
So you're a chef. At what age did you go to culinary school? Where did you go?
So I went to Pittsburgh. I was 20 years old when I decided to go up there. My father was actually working for the Cheesecake Factory up there, and I went up there and went to school, did that, worked while I went to school. It's also kind of around the time I found out I was having my first kid. I had my kids younger, so it was like just a big balancing act of going to school and providing and working, and somewhere in between there trying to find sleep. So,
how old were you when the first one was born?
I think I just turned 21.
Yeah.
So
I was 22. So
young
dads.
It was, there's a double-edged sword to that. In one hand, like I feel bad because I did not have my stuff together, but I have a great relationship with my kids now, and by the time that they're graduated from high school, I'm going to be 41 years old. So, it's kind of like, so I get to spend that adult life with them too. Not just a few more years.
Not just them taking care of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's
my kid's 16, and when we get together, it's not nearly enough for me, but it's just like hanging out.
Yeah,
Watch movies. We watch the same horror movies. We go to restaurants. Obviously, he can't drink a beer with me.
No, yeah,
but it's just like hanging out with a friend now. It's kind of weird, especially at the end. He lives with his mom, so when he comes over at the end of the visit or whatever, you go to hug him. It's weird because it's like hugging a grown man.
Yeah,
like I used to hug him and like hold him and not let go.
Yep.
And now it's just like you do one of those little sidearm pat hugs or a pat on the back, say "Love you, bub," and then that's it.
Man.
It feels weird.
I still I read this thing that it kind of pulled at my heartstrings. We'll get a little sentimental for a minute. It said that you never realize it, but one day you pick up your kids for the last time. And when I read it, I was like, man, that's deep. So every time I give my kids a hug, I pick them up and say one more time. And
oh man, I'm almost in tears.
No, dude, that's just, it's one of those things.
I'm a softie when it comes to kids.
Was like, oh, you got to be like that. Just hit all the right buttons for me. So,
all right, so let's move forward past schooling. And when did the dream of opening up your own food I don't want to even call it a restaurant. We're going to start with when did you have the dream to start something in food, and how did it lead you to Jimmy Avocados food truck?
I think that a specific or unspecific dream, I think there's a lot of us out there that we want our own business. We want to be able to set our own, hours. We want to be able to invest in ourselves and our family and our friends and not, a corporation. So it's always been something to back my mind. But I really say probably 5-6 years ago, a food truck just stuck. I was like, man, there's not much like it in this area. That would be really cool. And I went through 100 different ideas of what kind of food truck. In fact, Ariel working in the kitchen right now, when we first met was all the same friends that would go hang out and have a couple beers at all the same places. She met me when it was a fever dream. She actually told me because one of those nights where I just was going on a rant about, man, I want to open this food truck and do this, this, and this. And Ariel was, she goes, if you ever do, you let me know. I'll come work for you.
Wow.
And she did.
Yeah. One of the hardest thing as a business owner is finding reliable people and people that you can trust that are going to start taking advantage of you or whatever, especially in the food service industry. I worked in the back, as a server years and years ago, and you see a lot of backstabbing. People come and go very frequently in that business, and to have somebody that by your side that's been with you since pretty much day one, that's pretty stellar, and it speaks a lot about you that it's lasted.
I'm going to
this
say
long.
it speaks a lot about her because in that thriving chaos thing, I get disorganized sometimes.
You're probably hard to work with.
If there was two of me working, we could not work together, or we would probably fight to the death.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. She's my number two. She's definitely my right hand in all this, and has helped me with so much to make this grow. So I'd say, like I said, about 5-6 years ago, the fever dream really took off. I owned the truck we currently have for 2 years before I even started working on it. I got a deal from a friend I knew whose father got it off a school board. So I bought the truck for like $800 and drove it up here from where's that at? Webster Springs, West Virginia. Never driven a food truck before in my life, or a box truck. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but it is a windy back road to get in and out of this place. And not only that, but as we're leaving, it decided to have one of the biggest downpours I'd ever been in my life. So it was a lot of fingers crossed and positive thoughts on the way home. So
All right, so now you have the truck. It's been sitting out kind of on the side for a while. I know that I had a dream to open a record store most of my adult life. It took the pandemic for me to take a chance. I opened a car detailing business, and I thrived instantly. Like, it picked up. I ended up having employees, and things went really well. And I thought, if I could do this well doing something that I don't like and don't care about, imagine what I could do if I did something that I'm passionate about.
yeah.
But pulling the trigger, especially when you have kids, and as you get older and kind of have been beaten down by the man, as it were, what did it take to finally push you over the edge to get you into that truck and to get rolling?
So I don't want to say lengthy story, but definitely a little more in depth than what most people hear is. I worked for Darden, and then during the pandemic, when COVID hit, specifically Cheddar's, and I ended up getting transferred here to Parkersburg because I worked a lot on the road, and it was a lot of 80-hour, 90-hour weeks during lockdown. We just it was just us managers working 6 days a week, open to closed, and it just took it out of me. And I remember when everything settled down. And employees started coming back to work, I took a vacation, and I was sitting down there by myself on the beach in the middle of the night, and just something hit in my head, and I was like, if you don't do this now, you're going to wake up 10 years from now an older man full of regret. And, I came back, I parted ways with Darden, and I started, dipping into my savings and started pulled the truck out. I had it stored at that storage lot down by the old toll bridge, and brought it over to my brother's because he had a huge lot, and just started working in it. I had most of the equipment for it. Just I kept in a storage unit that I had acquired over the years, and winter hit, I worked part-time for 740 Social in Marietta. So my good friend of mine, he's the executive chef there. And originally he posted something, want someone to wash dishes. And I was like, I have worked in such a needed I got to make the decisions. I got to do this. I have so much responsibility. I was like, I want to go wash dishes for a few, and that lasted like a week.
What's his name?
Jared.
Okay,
Lee,
yeah. He used to have Green Goes.
Green
in
Goes, when we were in Marietta. Yep.
So shout out to 740 for snatching up a really, really, really good chef and a really great guy. When I opened my business when it was on Putnam Street as Monstrous Horde, he showed up opening night with a bottle of champagne.
Oh, yeah,
and
dude,
you know what?
Jared's such a good guy, man.
And I barely knew him.
Yeah.
He just is that kind.
Yeah.
I kept that bottle of champagne. I've still not drank it. I think because I'm a beer guy anyway.
Yeah.
It was just more knowing that people are out there that want to see you succeed. Seeing that on my mantle is way more important to me than cheers and toasting to a good opening night.
Yeah.
So I kept that, and it's a nice little memento that there are good people not trying to see you fail.
No, man. There's that saying that, the difference between me and you is I'm rooting for you too. And that's, you complimented me with saying that I'm a likable guy and stuff like that, but that's just my big mentality with it, man. We're all headed to the same place. And I don't see anything wrong with lifting someone else up on the way there. Worked for them for a while over winter, and then it was 2020. What year are we in? This is our third year. I think 2022. Went all the way through homecoming here in Parkersburg. August 26th was when we first opened.
And the name obviously didn't take a lot to come up with. It's a great name.
So I didn't come up with that name.
Oh.
So a little funny story. I was going to name this place La Parrilla del Jaime, which is Spanish for Jimmy's Grill. And I was like, well, I think it sounds cool. It does not sound like a fun food truck. And so it kind of set, and I just was like, oh, man.
I like Jimmy Avocados better. It's way more us.
Yes.
It's way more Ohio Valley.
It is. So
and the logo is neat as heck.
So Devin Gordon, she owns Fine Lines. They do the printing, t-shirts, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I was talking with them because we've been friends for a while, like just about my ideas and what I wanted. And they sent me that avocado head that they drew. And I was like, man, I fell in love with that. I was like, it's me if I was an avocado. And I'm driving with my brother, and my brother all nonchalantly goes, you should call it Jimmy Avocados. And it stuck, and that's what it became. It became Jimmy Avocados.
It's one of the most instantly recognizable things.
No, it's like not in a boastful sense, very humble sense, but at least for our area, it's like the McDonald's arch. You see it, you know what it is. Oh, that's a McDonald's. And there's a lot of people that see the stickers that people have on their cars or the sign, and they're like, oh, it's Jimmy Avocado. I've been noticed because I still have I'm growing my hair out, so it's crazy, but I still have a man bun. I'll walk around without a hat on, my man bun up, and people go, are you the Jimmy Avocados guy? And it's
first time I ever saw you. We didn't talk, but I had been following you on your socials. Was when you were in the mall.
Yeah.
And I saw you back there working in like a cutoff shirt, man bun up. You look like this pretty intense presence in the kitchen.
Yeah, no.
And
I'm a giant goofball, man. I look intimidating, and you said, as business owners, we got to sell ourselves. Yeah. Like that's just as important as selling our product, because it just is, and anytime we do big events, I try to make sure I just talk to everybody, because it's not like I need everybody to like me. It's just, I want,
you got to get out from behind the grill.
Yeah. I want to pass those good vibes on. I want, people to be, I'm selling myself, you're setting yourself up for hopefully future events, your
face is the avocado.
Yeah. And that helps a lot. With the exception of green, I look like the picture. So it's, it's just being that presence, being out there and being in front of people and being sociable. And, it's definitely a skill I learned in this industry, the restaurant industry. So
do you mind if we pivot from the truck, which is now at this point up and running? You're doing events. You're all over the place.
Yeah.
People follow your socials to find out where you're going to be that day. You did have a short foray at the mall.
Yeah.
How long were you there, and what actually happened?
So we were there for about a year. Without trying to be over technical, we signed a permanent lease there for 3 years. They wanted 5 originally, and I wasn't comfortable with that, and I talked them down to 3. Um, they give you a projection of what they think you'll make there. So, they projected us making like almost $500,000 a year there. And, obviously, that sounds like a lot, but you factor everything in, you're not really making that much. So opened up, started basing, my ordering, my staffing, all this stuff, like around that number, with flex and everything. And just, it wasn't there. Like, and not just, it wasn't just for us. I was just talking to a lot of people about just the sales not being there. So that was a bummer. That was a contributing factor. And then the other contributing factor for us was just, there was some structural issues with the facility that we had. I feel like just I don't want to go in too much detail because I'm not trying to necessarily badmouth anybody.
Yeah, let's not burn any bridges on the podcast.
I'm not burning bridges. The people, the staff at the mall were great and as helpful as they can, but it's just hard to translate something from a location to a giant corporation located 400 miles away that's going on.
It had to be scary going from such a small scale. My life and my life's blood is inside this truck, and now it's being spread out into an entire community, 10 to 5 or 10 to 7 or whatever time they're open. And taking on the rent, the extra employees.
No,
the stress had to be immense going from a truck to the mall.
It was, and I can't be, in a sense, I'm sure you're well aware the same. While it's not necessarily free, it's free for us to work if we're taking up those hours as opposed to paying somebody to come do those hours. But doing the truck, with the events that we were doing last year, we had several. We were out of town for 3-4 days at a time, so I got to staff the store for 3-4 days at a time. And it became a very big challenge. And at the end of it, it wasn't profitable. And sometimes smart businesses knowing when you have to stop. And that's really what it came down to. It just was no longer profitable, affordable to continue going in that location.
Yeah. It's nice that we have them all. I don't agree with a lot of their business decisions on my end. I have nothing to lose by saying that.
No, yeah.
I don't like the way they've treated Tony. I don't like the way that they've treated the thing that made me the most mad was the blue chip cookies when that Great American Cookie Store came in.
Yeah.
And supposedly, the rumor is, I don't know if it's true or not, that they signed kind of like a deal where nobody else in the mall can sell cookies.
Oh, that's true. So
they muscled them out, a small business out to get in a chain in a much smaller spot, but probably for like triple the rent.
Yeah, and that's there were certain things we couldn't make food wise because of the other places they're selling food. So
it's kind of like why we don't have a Target in town. Walmart has like the stranglehold on the town.
Yeah.
I've always heard you can't have a Target so close to a Walmart within X amount of miles, and that's why there's a Walmart every X amount of miles in our area.
It makes sense, yeah. So I can definitely see that being a reason why. But no, there's a lot of, excuse me, a lot of weird rules, when it comes to things like that. What you can sell, and I agree. When I look at, I think it all kind of. The downfall for the small businesses trying to make it in the mall, in my opinion, really started with when they kicked Work a Heart out. That whole ordeal there. I don't know all the details, but I do know that it was a little shady, kind of how they got them out of there. And it's just, I'm not dumb. I know how business works, and obviously, money speaks. So when you got a big corporation willing to pay 3 times as much for the same space, from a business point of view, these big corporations, they're going to take it, but it just really does. It hurts small business.
All right, well, let's get off the mall. So things happened, and now you're back to work in the food truck doing the special events. Do you do any catering kind of things, like special event?
We do everything from weddings to we actually started a catering menu when we opened up here. That's like, party platter kind of stuff, and we do it both ways. Like either we'll dress it all up and just drop it off and you can eat it, or we'll set up a buffet line for you, kind of like a build your own taco bar. And, we do weddings, parties. Like we've done a good amount of just that kind of stuff with the truck too. So.
And I remember seeing on your socials a few months ago that you guys were out to an event and driving back from an event, and something really, really bad happened. Not catastrophically bad, but bad to kind of change the route of things for a short period of time. Let's talk a little bit about the deer that found your vehicle and the community support that rallied around you to get you back on the road.
We went to Ravenswood to Point Pleasant for an event up there, and it took I took the kind of the scenic route there and back, and then we hit the interstate, and I got about a mile down the road from Ravenswood, and just out of nowhere, deer. I've never hit a deer in my life, and of course the first one I do is in the food truck, which in retrospect is probably good because it's a 1980s truck. It's a steel box.
So when I think about a deer crash, I instantly go to is it Tommy Boy? They put the deer in the back of the vehicle and then he wakes up.
Yes, it is. It took out the front end of the truck, and man, I had we got it towed here, and we posted, hey guys, we don't want to ask for donations. We just want, come buy tacos, come buy food off us, help us make the money to do this. And I still had several people come up and, me personally, be like, hey, really appreciate what you're doing. And, hand me, a monetary donation towards it. And just very, very touching to see that many people come out and, not just support my business, but support us directly with just getting it fixed. And it was a handful of, I'm going to stay up till 2:00 in the morning trying to pull all these parts. And, the worst part about it is that being such an older truck, an older specific truck, is you got to wait on parts. They're not stocked in, the stores that, they normally are. So.
All right. So you're back up and running. And how long has the new restaurant kind of been in the works? And talk about some of the challenges of trying to run a successful food truck while you're trying to open up a new business, and talk about your new location a little bit. 327 Juliana Street.
It's a lot of sleepless nights, I'll tell you that. When I had kind of had it in my head that we were leaving the mall the middle of last year, I went ahead and got this spot because from just strictly a rent point of view, it's almost a tenth of the cost of the mall to move here. The truck was able to sustain that during the events and stuff. So there was a lot of downtime where the store, we wanted it to be open sooner, but it couldn't be open sooner just because I was on the truck. We were out of town during events. Mm-hmm. So the time I was able to dedicate to getting things done here was stretched very thin. Winter kind of gave us that break to really just, put the tires to the road and start getting everything finished in here, which, we kind of did a walkthrough when you first got here. You can tell we're still got some paint we want to finish on the walls and some tables to set up here.
As a small business owner, you're never going to be done. You're never going to be satisfied with the way things are.
Something could be better, and you change this a little bit. So, and
it's not like we're corporate and they send us pallets and pallets of displays and all this other fun stuff to put
by
out.
the way, you're going to have contractors there at 7 in the morning. I'm the contractor that comes in at 7 in the morning. So also, ironically, the opener. So at 10, I got to start getting the food ready. Yeah. But, so, it was, it was stressful, but, determined. And, the first, the couple weeks, December, the last, 2 weeks, December, I think is when we really kind of got everything ready to go and ready to start rolling and started opening. And, honestly, just I figured we would do okay down here, especially, we're close to some downtown businesses and, people it's not full-time back to work like it was, pre-COVID, but, right. There's still a good amount of people here. We still got support. We got regulars that come in. I know their orders. I might not know your name, but I remember what you order. Yeah. So, and just the business here has been fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better collection of customers. And when I say I want more, it's mostly I want people to come enjoy this as much as I enjoy doing it. So,
and I've noticed that downtown, when people think downtown Parkersburg, they think on-street parking, similar to downtown Marietta. You're one of the very few locations that has an immense amount of off-street parking.
Yeah,
you can park your truck here.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about getting a spot in the parking garage or anything like that. You can have your truck here. There's plenty enough room for 30, 50 customers, and you can have outdoor events like the taco. You set up the taco truck out there.
Yeah, we did National Taco Day and had about 4 or 5 trucks outside. Yeah, no. So, I'm very lucky to have my own parking lot. And my landlord's fantastic, too. Like, he's all on board for the crazy ideas I have, which there's a lot. So.
We'll talk about those ideas here in just a few minutes. Okay, so you guys, you open your doors. How does it feel knowing that you're out of the truck now, or at least partially out of the truck, and you can walk into your own place? How does that feel?
I think we talked about, I've been at a couple places, trying to just get my feet wet, find my place. And, I've had the truck and stuff. And it wasn't until I came here, I really had like that moment where you feel like you've done something successful, and I was listening to, I'm an old Blink-182 fan. And they had a song come on, and just something about it hit the moment. I'm here in the store by myself. I sent my other employee on break. And just thank goodness nobody walked through that door, because I'm back here having a happy emotional breakdown. Just realizing that we're coming up on our 3rd year anniversary, which is 6 months away still, but we're closer to our every day to our 3rd year anniversary. And it's like, for 3 years been grinding at this, like, and you feel like you made something, and not just made something for me and my kids and hopefully the future generations to come, but made something as a community staple, like that can I can host events here. I can bring the community together. I can I can help people make good memories. And it feels very overwhelming and humbling and amazing all at the same time.
So on the podcast that we did on episode 1 with Tony, he mentioned Taco Tuesdays is one of your big ideas, and today is that day. You give away tacos for free for kids. Talk a little bit about that and all of your upcoming, if you have any upcoming special plans and things that you're dreaming up right now that you want to make sure that the world gets a chance to know.
Man, so we got us, we every Tuesday we do free kids meals. For every entree you purchase, you get a free kids meal. For kids 12 and under. I can't know how to do it on DoorDash. I'm illiterate to that. So it's, call-ins, walk-ins, dine-ins, carry-outs, that kind of thing. We try to either run a new taco or a special. So like today we're doing the buy 3, get 1 free. So kind of, if you haven't tried some new flavors, you get a chance to get out and, try some new ones. I think the big thing is, I think we message back and forth on Facebook for this a minute, but we're adding beer to the menu, and that's
cerveza.
Yeah, so that's I don't want to be a bar. I'm not looking to turn into that atmosphere, but it's just it's a complimentary thing. It's like wine with fine dining, and it kind of goes together, beer and tacos. And so being able to kind of put all those things together, not only is it coming to the store, but it's coming to the food truck as well. So the food truck will be serving beer as well. But having it, especially on the truck, really opens up the avenue for the future events we want to do, this summer, the bigger events when it comes to, we want to do a couple concerts, outdoor concerts here.
Really?
We want to do, a couple, the midnight kind of like bazaars where we have the late night bazaars once it gets warm.
The gypsies will come out. I love it.
Yeah, just some cool things. So, and being able to provide, that it's on our property, we can rope it off, we can get the special permits, so that way people can grab a drink, grab some food from either us or some of the other food trucks that we'll have present, and walk around and just have a good time.
There are, just to give you some confidence here with having alcohol, Dora in Marietta, that I didn't have it at my first spot, and it really hindered the fun for the people that go downtown, especially for like First Fridays or whatever. Dora is a thing, and people bring alcohol in my store all the time. Having alcohol is definitely strenuous because you're going to be regulated. People are going to be doing ID or checking to make sure that you check IDs, because it's not about making sure you're 21. It's making sure that you have the ID in the building. So if he knows you, he's probably still going to check because he's got to.
So I don't know. Somebody said they thought it passed, and so don't quote me on any of this, but I do know on the table at least there's talks of doing that similar thing here in Parkersburg, and it would start up to the Art Center on Market Street and come all the way down to the Blennerhassett. So, and while I'm not necessarily in that area yet, I definitely support that, just because I've seen firsthand. I was working at 740 when Dora took off, when they started it.
It's huge.
So yeah, and it's just it gives somebody something to do, and I'm not trying to just sit here and promote going out and drinking beer and stuff like that. But it is a part of our community. It's a part of our culture. And to be able to integrate that to not just boost up small business, but boost up tourism and boost up foot traffic, and just bring life to the area. Really, and it's something to do other than sit at home. So
And a lot of people, if anybody's like me, awkward socially, it's nice to be able to, like, what do I do with my hands when I go to places?
Yeah.
To be able to, for one, have a beer in my hand, for
you
two,
see
it
me
loosens
fidgeting
you.
here the entire time, trying not to touch anything.
Yes, I'm trying
so.
not to pound the mic, but I am definitely a fidgeter.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been a great addition to downtown Marietta, and if that happens in Parkersburg, I can see that being a really good thing, especially for you guys. People can come here and dine and have a beer, and then walk up do some shopping. The revitalization of downtown Parkersburg. Some people are sad to see the buildings being torn down. I see it as gentrification. I see it as they're building something back. You can't go forward unless you get rid of some of the sins of the past. You know, some of these buildings, the codes, the mold, the asbestos, but you got to see some of the progress. The Discovery Zone, one of the coolest things to ever happen in this town.
Yeah, no.
So much fun. And it's just something that it feels like you're in a bigger city when you go in there. It feels like something you'd have to drive to Pittsburgh for.
My 14-year-old went there and had a blast.
Yeah.
You know?
They're doing really good things. I know it's a challenging market, being like you said, there's not as many people downtown anymore because it was mostly offices, buildings, courthouses, and things like that. And it is definitely a challenging area, but it's nice to see that there's people out there really giving it a go to bring it back.
No, yeah, and that's our big focus being down here is we want not just be part of it, but be part of the push to bring life back down here. There's so much so much opportunity to make this just a lifeblood of the Mid Ohio Valley. You know, just a place to come and do things and bring family and have fun and
you got the river right at your fingertips.
I mean, so I'm really hopeful to see what we can come up with come like the homecoming time when they start doing stuff down at the point. So I'm excited to see what all of us as a team here come up with to do. So.
And part of the push, an idea that you've been talking about on your social media is a farmer's market.
Yeah.
So let's get into the farmer's market. Let's dive into how it came about, some of the plans that you have for it, and maybe some of the challenges that you're dealing with trying to get it going.
So when I first talked to the landlord here about taking over this area, it was actually an idea he had brought. He's like, I thought about maybe doing a farmer's market here. And I was like, okay. So kind of always in the back of my head. And then once we got things rolling here, beginning of this year, it was like, man, I feel like we did Sunday brunch for a little while and it did good the first couple weeks and then it just kind of died off. So it was like, how can we bring something down here and make a day that's normally not busy, not just, worth, profitable and stuff, but also do something. And I had the idea about farmer's market and I miss the farmer's markets from the cities where you go and it's somebody with fresh produce and you got a butcher there selling fresh meats and somebody who makes cheeses and breads and soaps and herbs and spices and just all these actual farmer market things coming down there. And so that's really what I want to do. We got our we got our application into the Department of Agriculture, and then after that it's a lot of just that's pretty much it. It's then just setting dates and planning vendors and getting everything. So I'd say the longest process is really just figuring out how are you going to run it? What are your rules? What are your regulations? How are you going to do this, and this? So
it's a lot to take on for one person. Do you plan on maybe a committee or having some helpers?
Maybe as things go on, and not in a selfish way, just I don't want to commit a lot of resources to something that might not take off. And that's it. So if I kind of just me with, the help of some of my crew, kind of get things rolling at first. If it becomes successful, becomes something people want to see more of, then we can kind of shift into that realm of, like, okay, let's make a volunteer board for Jimmy Avocados Farmers Market. So,
and around the same time that I heard about your guys' farmers market, I saw on social media that they're trying to start one across the river over in Belpre as well.
Yeah, gentleman by the name of Eric Freed. He's doing one over there. It's going to be at Docks on the River. Yeah, Docks on the River. It's off Blennerhassett Avenue. And he's kind of going for that same feel, He got a really good idea. He's doing he's not, charging his vendors a set, or anything like that. It's going to be all local farmers, and I guess he has a large area to hold a significant amount of vendors. And we're going to be doing it on the Sundays. His starts Mother's Day, I believe. I think that's May 12th this year. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be Mother's Day. And, he's just he's going to do kind of like a noon to 4 kind of thing. You know, I'm thinking maybe let's go a little bit earlier, do like a 10 to 2, and then just kind of cross advertise, man. Just kind of make, advertise as being Sunday is the farmer's market day in the Mid-Ohio Valley. I know that Marietta does theirs on Saturdays, and it gives people something to do. I love the idea of seeing things like this pop up, and I'm excited to see what he does over there.
My wife's family lives in a small hamlet in New Hampshire called Exeter. It's actually right near like Hampton Beach and right there near the ocean. And right by the waterway, they have a farmer's market every weekend. And the smells, the vibrancy, everybody comes out for it. It's a very small town. I don't know, probably a handful of thousand people. It just seems like everybody goes and you smell all the smells. You buy all the fresh things. There's musicians playing. You get to try things there on the spot that maybe you wouldn't obviously buy at a grocery store that you probably never thought about trying before, and free samples, and not only that, but you get to congregate with the other locals that are like-minded.
Yeah, no,
because not everybody is a social butterfly that wants to go out and do those things, but everybody that does will be there.
Yes,
so you can howdy neighbor anybody you want. And they're not going to just, put their head down and walk past you. It's just the most fun. Everybody's there to have a good time.
Yeah, not everybody likes going to, football games. So
I hated it.
To offer, hockey games. I'll go to hockey.
I'll go
games
to hockey's great, but the Steelers fans scared. The one football game I went to scared me to death. They were so mean to each other.
No, yeah. So and it's just having different things, like you say. You said it right there. People to be able to go and congregate. And just really, meet like-minded people, experience the whole, thing. So
see all the other creators in town.
Yeah,
bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah,
we can go in there and like try to cross-pollinate ideas.
Yes,
man, I love what he's doing. It's a great thing for small business. You'll get to know who in town is an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
and maybe you'll start supporting things that you never even thought existed.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it's really, really, really great. But it is now 46 minutes, and Jimmy's got to get into the kitchen and get things ready for his lunch rush. Like I said, we're coming to you live from 327 Juliana Street in the brand new Jimmy Avocados location, the former Making Me a Pizza, right across from the Sheets. Plenty of off-street parking. What are your hours, and do you have anything else that you want to bring to light before we sign off?
Keep supporting small business, guys. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. We're open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 7. And once we start putting beer on the menu, our hours will go a little bit later come the weekend.
Okay. And where's the truck going to be this coming week?
This week, we got a couple private events. And she's getting a little bit of a facelift to prepare for the changes coming. We're putting in some new coolers, some new countertops, and a new sink. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So she's getting a little break in the parking lot.
She is. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Jimmy. Absolutely. And we'll definitely be back to check in with you guys here in a few months, and we'll see how the restaurant is going and with the beer thing and everything. And make sure to constantly support small business, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the First City Podcast. All right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Jimmy Carrano. He is a really, really cool dude, easy to talk to. He had to get to work, so we had to get out of there. The store was opening. And it's been a lot of time in the store that morning. Anyways, filming for our YouTube channel. If you want bonus footage, make sure to follow our YouTube channel. We were going to be releasing a somewhat edited, mostly raw footage in the kitchen with Jimmy. We cooked up some tacos, and we sat around and had a little conversation before the podcast started mostly about food, talking about tacos, his palate, things like that. So make sure to go to our YouTube page, First City Podcast on YouTube, and for exclusive content. We'll see you guys next week. Be watching the Facebook page, First City Podcast on Facebook, and I will announce who's going to be in the studio next week for our next big interview of local, interesting people. Hope you guys are enjoying the podcast as much as I am putting it on, and we will see you next time.